Hello everyone, welcome to Bravehearts. This is Sean Ling, and today is the second day for the CPAC. I'm in Orlando, Florida, and together with me is Amanda Milius, and he's a director and producer for an important documentary. The documentary is called The Plot Against the President, and this documentary was released last October, and now we know what happened 1 month later, right? So, Amanda, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
So can you tell us what inspired you to produce that? And then do you see even bigger plots is coming?
Well, I worked in the administration for 3 years, and I got to know a lot of the people that were involved in the Russiagate, uncovering the fact that it was actually a hoax. A lot of the people that worked with Devin Nunes' team, and one of the things I think that we point out that is really one of the more important things we point out in the movie is how the media narrative enabled this hoax to take over the whole country. That was really one of the things that I think is evergreen about this, because they're going to do this again, and they have done this again. Like you said, the movie came out in October. The point was to get it out and share it with the world before the election. But since the election, we're seeing another false narrative rising to demonize the entire Republican Party, the entire Trump movement, and it's very similar to the Russia collusion story, which was completely fake. So, yeah.
And so how did you collect so many evidence regarding about Russiagate? Because so much media have been covering up the true situation. So how did you do your own research to produce this documentary?
Well, a lot of it was really taken care of for us by the fact that Lee Smith had written such a explosive and well-researched book. It was actually kind of like cheating because, Lee Smith really did so much of the research. But I also, all of the original sources that are speaking to Lee, the Congressman Nunes, his team, Kash Patel, a lot of the other congressmen that were involved, and a lot of the people that Michael Flynn had hired, they're all people I kind of knew around DC. And so I was able to get the true story directly from them. Like they knew I wasn't going to spin it or manipulate them because I'd worked amongst these people. So I was able to get really raw, honest interviews from the actual sources.
But right now the situation even getting worse, and right because from the second impeachment, all these, so the media is actually crank up their own smearing campaigns. So how do we handle this kind of situation now?
Well, I think the main thing, and this again what we learned exposing Russiagate, is we need to just keep telling the truth. I mean, as much as people are afraid of getting banned, and that is a real fear and that's a real problem, and we have to push back against that. And every time they ban somebody for telling the truth, we all need to shout it as loudly and not let them just disappear people. When we talk about the election, we have to be able to talk about election fraud without fear of getting banned. We have to be able to talk about the events of January 6th without being forced to adopt a ridiculous narrative that never happened. So we have to keep pushing that, because otherwise, if we can't tell the truth, I mean, we really are in a scary place in this country.
And then for this CPAC 2021, because I think what you talk about is one of the most critical issues we need to handle right away, right? But in here, I didn't see any major companies or conservative companies come here to say, well, I want to support a new platforms, let conservative people using the platform. And I didn't see Gap coming here. I didn't see Rumble. But the conservative people still don't have a very reliable platform right now. So how do we improve this situation?
That's absolutely something that we need to work on. We have to, I think I was actually just having this conversation with somebody else, which is that all of these alternative platforms need to be coming together, and I don't know how that works as far as working with CPAC, but CPAC stands for the conservative movement, and especially the Trump conservative movement, because it is the place where Trump launched his real campaign. And I think once we get out, past this election and get looking towards the future, his power to move the movement, I think, is going to bring these companies along and is going to bring new companies out of the woodwork, because if they can ban the leader of our movement, we absolutely cannot trust their platforms anymore, and there has to be alternative platforms. I think I don't know if I'm going to feel like I'm naive for thinking that new solutions will arise because there's such a demand for them, but I still feel like there will be new platforms for us.
I just feel it need to come earlier.
Yeah.
Right, because right now you can see the far left forces, they are not slowing down anyway.
No.
Right.
No. And I mean, we have this issue with films too, because I mean, we were able to get this out on Amazon, which was a really lucky and unique ability. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be amazing to people that a documentary about the most topical issue in the country is on one of the bigger platforms. Like, that should be very normal. That should be a normal occurrence. We probably won't be able to do things like that in the future because Amazon has now, after our movie, canceled their program where unsolicited nonfiction works can be submitted. So now, they're basically, it's going to be much harder to get movies out to these larger platforms. So in addition to just free speech platforms and news sources, we need film platforms, and we need them yesterday.
And have you talked to Netflix? Are they still also very political?
Well, Netflix only takes exclusive content, so we never even approached Netflix because we assumed I wouldn't trust them to put it out because they have such a left-wing bent and they're so known for that if we had done a deal with them, they could have locked the movie up for months and then not put it out. So I just didn't even trust them enough to even approach them. So luckily we didn't do that. Now we're available on all of the different platforms. We're on iTunes, Amazon, Vimeo. We're on YouTube Premium. I mean, you can't miss it. It's everywhere.
So what will be your next documentary you're working on?
My company, 1AMDC, is putting together a slate of about 3 to 5 new flagship feature films. It's probably 1 or 2 scripted narratives that are being developed, but as far as the documentaries, we definitely have 5 features that we're narrowing down the options and selecting which ones we're going to be working on for the next 2 years in probably the next month. So it's a really exciting time. We're basically looking at all of the different options, and we've got a lot of books, we've got a lot of stories, pitches from people, and they're going to be really cool.
Looking forward to see your next documentary. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you. All right. Thank you for watching Braveheart. This is Sean Ling. We see you next time.